Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for you to level up your communication skills, learn the art of public speaking, social skills, and personal branding to take your message to the world. For today's episode, we're entering the world of personal branding and social skills, and I'm going to be giving you 4 signs of someone who is boring. So to start off this video, I want you to know that there's no entity out there that just happens to be boring. Why? It's because how we define whether someone is boring or not is completely a perception-based act based off of us. So person A may be talking to Matt and think, yo, Matt is a cool dude. He's a fun guy to talk to. While person B is talking to Matt and think, yo, Matt is so dry. He's so stale. He is so damn boring. So there's no certain entity out there who just happens to be boring. It's completely a perception-based act. But that doesn't mean that there aren't certain similar characteristics among boring people. I've been in the East, I've been in the West, and I've noticed 4 signs of boring people time and time again. And if you can resonate with any of these 4 signs in this video, you need to acknowledge it and you need to find a way to eliminate it from your movements. But Armani, that sounds like work. What's the point? The point is, well, let me ask you a question. Is being boring and being toxic the same exact thing? At first, you may think, no, not really, because toxic people, they have a bad intent, while boring people, they may have a good heart, but they just lack personality. No way are they in the same exact boat. But for you to truly answer this question, you have to understand life energy. Once you understand life energy, you'll be able to understand social energy, which will help you determine whether or not someone is toxic or not. So what is life energy? Within life, it's not a linear world that we're living in. It's a non-linear world. The whole illusion of maintaining something is just that, an illusion. In the non-linear world that we live in, things are either growing or they're dying. Rarely will you see something that's just being maintained. Now, you'll often see someone growing for a little bit, then dying for a little bit, growing for a little bit, dying for a little bit. One of the best examples is someone who picks up a New Year's resolution. They're growing. A few weeks goes on by, they lose motivation, they stop, and then they make themselves aware that they stopped, start back up, then they stop again. So from the grand scheme of things, it looks like they're maintaining, but if you break down their day-to-day, it's either up or down. The same context holds true in the social world. Either you're empowering or you're draining. Are you leaving someone empowered after they're done speaking to you, or are you leaving someone drained? If you're leaving someone drained, then you are toxic. So let me ask you again. Are boring people leaving you empowered, or are boring people leaving you drained? They're leaving you drained, aren't they? And this may not seem fair. The boring person may have a good heart, they mean well, but they just lack personality. But the subconscious mind, it doesn't care about intent. It cares about the feeling that you're making the other person feel. So in a very weird way, the boring person is making the other person feel drained, just like a snake, a backstabber, someone who gossips too much. It's a very peculiar thing, but it's very similar sensations. So if you can resonate with any of the 4 signs that I'm about to bring up, it's your duty to start eliminating it, because if you're accidentally being perceived as toxic, you're tarnishing a lot of social opportunities out there. No bueno. So let's fix that. So let's talk about the 4 signs of the boring individual. Sign number 1, this is an individual that just likes to be interviewed, but they don't know how to have a dialogue. What's your name? John. How's your day going? Good. What do you do for fun? Basketball. We know a lot of Johns, and these are the individuals that they like to be interviewed. And sometimes they can be charismatic individuals and they're on their high horse, and sometimes they may be shy individuals who are self-conscious in speaking up. But ultimately, it comes down to the effort. Are you putting in effort in the conversation? And a person who is just being interviewed, they're not putting in the effort. So you're making the other person carry the whole load of the conversation, and this person is going to feel drained from carrying the whole load of the conversation, and they are going to dub you as boring. Put in some effort. If they're asking you a question, answer it and ask them a question back. It's as simple as that. No need to make it too complicated. That's number one. Two, lack of humor. So people love laughing, but you know what they love a little bit more? They love it when someone else is laughing at something that they said. I had this very serious teacher a few years back, and I remember she was roasting one of the students for always having an excuse for not doing their homework. And one of the roasts were so funny that even the kids started giggling. And the teacher was being very serious, and she goes from looking very serious to, yeah, you found that funny? And she loosened up. Something about humor, humans love it, but the opposite also holds true as well. If someone feels comfortable around you to start cracking jokes, and time again, you're just like, it comes off as boring to the other individual because they're opening up to you, they're cracking jokes, and you're not even smiling or saying, that's a good one. There's a little social etiquette that needs to be involved in situations like this. You may not always find the jokes funny, and in those kind of situations, you don't have to laugh. But after a while, a little bit of etiquette is involved, and you should at least smile. Just a light chuckle, that doesn't hurt. Another part is to know when to smile, to know when to say that was a good one. You have to acknowledge when someone is telling a joke. And this typically is something that you can do when you start telling jokes yourself, but it's very hard to do if you don't have a sense of humor. When someone's telling a joke, you're just unaware of it. If you're unaware in situations like that and you see other people laughing, one of the worst things that you can say is, well, can you explain that joke to me? Because no one wants to explain a joke at the moment. A joke is something that's spontaneous. It just sort of happens. And when you ask someone to explain it, you're taking out all of the spontaneity. Ask them afterwards if you genuinely want to know. Other than that, don't make a big deal out of it. So that's two, lacking humor. The third one is being too still. There's certain micro-components to this one. And the micro-components are your voice is flat. Your facial expression is expressionless. You talk very slow. You take too long to respond back. Notice for everything in section 3, it's all physical. And your physical aspect plays a huge role in terms of communication skills. When you have a monotone voice, it's very similar to going to a concert that you paid good money for, and the guitar player is just playing one string. At first, you think that this guitar player is working their way up to something. But after 10 minutes, they're still playing the same string over and over again. And you're thinking, yo, what the hell? I paid money for this? I want a refund. It's the same thing when you have a monotone voice. It's sort of like you playing that one string in the concert, and other people are going to want a refund. So make it an effort to fix your voice. Do that by reading a book out loud or starting a podcast, something like that, and you'll start realizing that you have plenty of tonalities out there just waiting to be discovered. That's number 3. And the fourth sign that you're boring is when you lack knowledge. I have a friend who loves either talking about himself or basketball. Himself or basketball. And when you try to delve outside of those realms, he's not having it. He's like, I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that either. And he seems proud of this. He wants to be known as just the basketball guy or the person who talks about himself. But that's socially unintelligent because most people out there don't have the same exact interests as you. And if you want to be socially dynamic, you need to be well versed in multiple topics out there. If you're living in the information age and you're consuming YouTube, podcasts, tweets, blogs, How are you not well versed in something? Don't only educate yourself on your passions, follow your curiosities and other subjects as well. This is the perfect time out there to learn about anything. In the information age, ignorance is a choice. So those are the 4 signs of being boring. Someone who is always being interviewed, someone with no sense of humor, someone who's very still in their voice, their face, their talk very slow. And 4 is the person who is not well educated in different topics. And these are 4 things that you can easily fix, and it doesn't take too long. You just need to set an intention out there. Luckily, with neuroscience, we have been able to see that your brain can always create new neural pathways and weaken old neural pathways. So the question is personality dynamic? You bet your ass it is. And this is why, if you are someone who resonated with any of these 4 signs in this video, you want to do something about it ASAP. The boring person comes off as toxic, and the toxic person tarnishes social opportunities even before they began the race. Avoid it at all costs and melt away the personality of boring from your life. For more practical tips on social skills, how to become more charismatic and more confident in social interactions and for your personal brand, you want to check out the Armani archives, an in-depth look into the world of social dynamics. In these archives, I drop over 150 plus stories talking about tips, insights, and practical strategies on how to become more charismatic. To grab your copy today, go on over to the description box right on below, hit the link, and seal your deal at this moment. With that being said, thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.